What is up, Duval Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Duval Adjacent. Joined here with your boy, Garrett. Tell the folks what we've been up to.
Man, a lot has developed lately, and it's not all about the Jags. I would say we made a trip out to San Francisco, and one, great city. That was a ton of fun. It was a
Super fun trip.
Yeah, man, like going out with the college friends, bringing the girlfriends along, or fiance for me, like that was really good. And we've been doing it for a couple of years at this point, and I've really loved like going on the Jacksonville ones with you. But the San Francisco one where we go and we check out a brand new city, for us at least, like it was really cool checking out everything going on there. I mean, we hit up Alcatraz, we hit up Muir Woods, the Tower, Chinatown. I mean, it was like we packed a ton in just a couple of days.
It was awesome. Super cool city. Anybody gets the chance to go out and visit there if you haven't been. Really good trip. Especially if you're there to catch a little Duval dub while you're at it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, that was it. I think that you kind of hit on it the most. It was almost shocking. Maybe because we had like zero expectation to see any other Jags fans, but it was like every other place that we went, we'd see at least like one Jags fan out in the wild.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, we hit a legendary Duval, a rare Duval on Alcatraz Island. That
Perhaps
was
the
sick.
First, dude.
Could have been, yeah, and probably not the last.
I hope not, dude. I hope they have us back after that kind of behavior.
Yeah, so we, I guess we had just finished up our tour, right? We were on the way out, I think, heading back to the ferry. Because you take a ferry out there to the island, and then obviously you got to take a ferry back. And we had kind of just finished up walking around the premises and taking pictures and, whole 9 yards. And as we're walking out, I think you maybe clocked somebody that was kind of fitted up. Right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, they kind of put us to shame. It was like, I mean, like having the full like drip jacket. I think it was like leather black jacket.
Yeah.
It was like undeniably like Jags fan.
Yeah.
Which I think is also a bit crazy that you're like, man, I'm going to go out to San Francisco, because that was like several days before the game too. And they're like, yeah, man, every day I stand on business wearing Jags gear.
I'm pretty sure that was on Friday, if I recall correctly. That was on Friday. It was still 2 days to go before the game. So they must have just had like fit after fit of just like all Jags gear. But yeah, I think so.
The problem with us is that we'd have to turn our Jags underwear inside out to make it across 3 different days to be able to spread.
I'd be doing that already as a little bit of for the team, So
hey, man, a good luck charm has never hurt anyone, and the Jags certainly could use it. But yeah, it was like a little, you're on foreign soil as far as Duval County goes, and I was like, oh man, I kind of just hit like a very nonchalant, like Duval.
Just kind of see if they'll bite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If anybody, yeah.
And it came back roaring. It was like the first Duval hit, and then it was all the Duvals hit.
I think there was like a couple consecutive. Like I feel like the people that were right there hit one right back, and then I think you even heard some people a little bit further away, like off in the distance. I feel like there was somebody like kind of further up the path that also like just like tossed one out there. So that was super cool.
Dude, it was all the former Jacksonville Jaguar prisoners that had been taken to Alcatraz. It was the ghosts of many prisoners past.
Dude, Trent Baalke should be in there.
Yeah, it was Trent Baalke, dude. That was crazy when we like went through the courtyard there on Broadway, as they called it, and you saw Trent Baalke hanging from his ankles upside down, getting his hiney smack silly, dude.
That's right. Yeah. Well, hey. The punishment fits the crime sometimes.
Yeah, now that's exactly right.
You can say a lot about our justice system, but goddamn it, in this situation,
he did not get off easy, but he didn't necessarily get anything worse than what he deserved. That's for sure.
Amen to that.
But it wasn't just that. Like it was there. I mean, obviously, you saw people coming in at the airport.
Muir Woods, we definitely saw a good group at Muir Woods.
Oh yeah, dude. It was all over the place, which was really promising to see because, again, the expectations were, yeah, it's just going to be us. I mean, I've gone to like hear Colts games, and it's pretty picked over, honestly, in terms of Jags fans, and that's way closer to somebody who's traveling from local than to go out to San Francisco. Albeit it is a bit of a better trip, I think,
more
to San Francisco. Than to go out to Indianapolis.
Indy's a great city. I think that Indianapolis is a great city to come see a game, whether that's NBA, WNBA, NFL. I think that like the venues there are actually really nice, and that downtown area is really nice to come visit. But.
Yeah, it's not like, again, it's not going to be the most picturesque of city that you would go to. It's not going to be that you are going to be having everything kind of coming to you. I mean, we couldn't go anywhere in San Francisco and something wasn't happening, right? I mean, it was just in fact, there was almost like too little time to do everything that we could have possibly done. But in all, it was like a super great trip. And then game day happens, and we kind of got dropped off about 5 miles away from the stadium on the wrong side.
Good Lord, which, by the way, I don't even, like, they shouldn't even be called the San Francisco 49ers if their stadium's going to be that far away from the damn city of San Francisco. That was, like, such a hassle to get over there.
Yeah, I mean, I heard people, like, just griping about, back when we were at Candlestick, it's like, yeah, man, like, it kind of is a ticket to get out there. I mean, at some level, it's not accessible. I mean, anywhere in San Francisco is kind of not exactly quick to get to.
Yeah.
But specifically going out to Santa Clara?
Yeah, Santa Clara is where it's at, technically.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because we didn't have a car, obviously, we're there visiting. Didn't want to rent a car. And even that, I mean, I'm sure parking would have not been much better. But it's like, if you're trying to get there without a car, it's like, I think our options were like, take a bus to a train that takes us to another train that takes us to a shuttle that drops us off like 10 minutes away from the stadium, So it's like, it was just, or, $200 ass Uber taxi, like, you name it.
Well, and then Chris's Chevrolets were all out of gas, so we strictly had to just figure it out. But when we got there, we had the beer ready. I mean, we brought a good bit. It was a long, arduous ride where we worked up a mighty thirst.
That's right.
Then we get there, and 100% off the bat, it was like, all right. Everybody that was wearing Jags gear has not shown up yet because we were kind of like we were trying to like scope out, try and see like, oh yeah, maybe there's like a Duval tailgate that we can drop in on.
Looking for one singular like friendly tailgate,
Right, and then it kind of came to pass that, like, all right, obviously we're gonna have to just set up shop, and maybe we'll be that beacon, right, for rogue Jags fans. And we had people that passed through. That was probably one of the coolest things, is like people just passing through, stopping by for a minute, like having a good laugh. I mean, honestly, going into that, semi-low expectations about, what the Jags really were going to do. But ultimately, it's out in the parking lot. That was just as much fun as being in the game, watching it all happen in real time. Just the atmosphere of it all. Knocking back some beers. It was like top to bottom. I mean, just a ton of fun. And I think we like really maximized on the time that we had there.
For sure, yeah. Well, and I'll say this is like, got to give credit, I think, to the 49ers fans that were there as well, because I thought it was a super respectful, like welcoming atmosphere for visiting fans. At least, I don't know what your thoughts are, but like, I expect to go in there and, maybe talk a little bit of shit here and there, but keep it friendly. You know what I mean? There weren't really any points where I was like, okay, somebody took it a little too far, which can happen at NFL games, unfortunately. But I thought at least the 49ers fans that we were interacting with, the ones that we were seated around, I never really felt like it got super out of hand. Granted, I thought we were mostly pretty respectful. You know what I mean? Like, I think you got to have a certain amount of manners. You know, if you're visiting fans in a stadium, you know, I feel like you should. You know, I think you should be able to openly celebrate your own team, regardless. You know, if you start initiating some shit talking, you know, that's where it's like you got to be careful. You know what I mean? But I did think that overall it was a very welcoming atmosphere.
Yeah, super nice stadium too.
With. Yeah,
I mean, great atmosphere, great stadium. I will say, I think it's a little bit of like the symptom of the actual problem is that I think that a lot of the 49ers fans probably thought that they were just going to dog walk us all game. So it's like, you know, what do I serve to gain of dunking on these guys when the proof's going to be in the pudding by the end of the game, you know? And but then it was like, as the game developed, because like even the guy who was sitting next to me was like, yeah, man, like, you know, we're going to have to play some good ball to beat you guys today. And it's like, yeah, we're just hoping for the best, honestly. I mean, we're just hoping for, like, you know, keeping it competitive. And then as the game progressed and things kind of started going in our favor, that was when, like, the pleasantries maybe stopped, and then it was like, 100%, actually, I'm locked in on the game now, you know.
Yeah, everybody, like, sits forward in their seat, like, you know.
Yeah. I can't believe I was so nice to this guy right next to me.
Yeah, fuck these Jags fans over here.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was like, all in all, like, getting into the game, all of the trip of San Francisco, it was just super, super fun. But then the game. But then the game.
Let's dive in. Let's get into the nitty gritty here about how the game played out. So, tell the people what you're thinking.
So I would say baseline, like the game. If we're talking about maybe the thought of how the game was going. So of course, like the Jags, it was not exactly like the fastest start ever, right? That they've had. I believe that the 49ers went and they scored on the first drive.
They got a field goal.
Got a field goal, right? Mm-hmm. They were up on the board, and it's like, all right, you know, that's pretty par for the course, I guess, for the Jags. And it was really not until there were like kind of these huge defensive plays that the Jags started making that you're really like, wow, you know, they're 100% in this. Like it was almost like total. You know, it's not like miscues on the 49ers' behalf, but you're kind of starting to think about it in a way. It's like, okay, Brock Purdy came back for this game, and he's throwing up, you know, a couple picks here. And really a lot of that comes back to, like, the exceptional play from Devin Lloyd.
That
was apparent. Yes, he was absolutely killing it through and through. The guy seemed to be, like, all over the field and always in a position to make the play.
Well, yeah, and I want to spend a moment talking about Devin Lloyd because he has been one of those players that has been so difficult, I think, to evaluate since he's been drafted to the Jaguars. Because, you know, I believe that the Jags moved up into the first round to pick him.
He was like the second pick in the second round. He was 33rd overall.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry, first pick in the second round. So
okay,
go ahead.
Gotcha.
Wait, no, I'm wrong about that. He's definitely a first round pick.
I thought he was a first rounder, but I can double check that in a second. But regardless, he was, you know, he commanded some substantial draft capital, and it, you know, he was one of the first sort of dominoes of that Trent Baalke regime where it's like, oh wow, you know, Trent Baalke really values this linebacker room, you know, and for so long it really only felt like Foye, which, by the way, a brief tangent, I feel like our announcers and everybody in the NFL media needs to practice saying Aluakin a few times here, because how many times are you listening to like anything NFL related, and they're like, oh yeah, the Jags linebacker room, they got Foy Olakun, and it's like, come on, just let's he commands enough respect that we need to know how to say his name, folks. So learn it, memorize it, don't forget it. Tangent over. Anyway, but Foye has been the only real consistent producer, it's felt like, for years in the Jags defense. And it came at a time where it's like we're expending a lot of draft capital to like bolster that room, you know.
Well, he got drafted the same time that Chad Muma got picked, right?
Yeah,
and Chad Muma
same draft.
Was not a low draft pick, Chad Muma.
Yeah,
and there was a time where
maybe
and there was a time where it's like you would look at the depth chart and it would say Devin Lloyd or Chad Muma. You know, that it was not necessarily cemented in stone that Devin Lloyd was the guy, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, which was shocking because his athletic profile, you know, I mean, he just had the potential to be this just ultra elite linebacker, you know, and it's such a difficult position for me to evaluate. I mean, I've said this before. I'm not like the ultimate NFL X's and O's guys, especially not when it comes to evaluating defenses. But even apart from that, it's like, how many game plans has Devin Lloyd been set up for success in over the last couple seasons? You know what I mean? Like, maybe he's executing his assignment flawlessly. It's just a bad fucking assignment.
Right.
So, like, I can recall plays where it's like, I don't know. It's like Devin Lloyd is supposed to be covering Amon-Ra St. Brown. So,
right.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And it's like he gets cooked. And it's like, well, of course he got cooked. Why was that ever the plan? Like, that it gets feasted on by every linebacker. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it's been so cool to see him really start to flourish and really play with some swagger. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like he's just moving around, kind of getting the job done. It almost feels like he's like a point of attack.
Oh yeah, it's not
mean?
Just a right place, right time kind of thing. I mean, the guy's putting himself in the position he needs to be to make the play, and that's really like the true evolution of like having the best dynamic linebacker is somebody who is able to go drop back into coverage and go and get picks like he has, or to go and move up and get pressure and being in that position where he's, you know, perhaps he's the guy that's getting a fumble recovery in the backfield. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like the guy's everywhere. It's clear that he's being drawn up to be able to be effective in a role that he's working really well in.
I feel like Devin Lloyd is constantly making tackles for loss behind the line of scrimmage for these little quick out type of passes too. You know, that's like a coverage that he has just been all over this year, which is I mean, you can tell it's like paying off in terms of, you know, how effective the defense is playing. So
it's not too late to title this whole video "Devin Lloyd Slob Sesh." we could keep going. We could keep going. It's just so funny how much, like, in my mind, his stock has risen in a very short amount of time. This has been a crazy year for him.
Like, who had on their bingo card that Devin Lloyd would be getting Defensive Player of the Year buzz, you know, 4 weeks into the season?
Right. He's been phenomenal. And, I mean, of the month, now that is like an obvious one. It's kind of, I feel a little bit beside myself that Eric Armstead won the game ball because of the revenge game kind of thing. Because Devin Lloyd actually, above and beyond, did deserve it.
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I think Eric Armstead was probably like a team captain for last week's game, if I had to guess, because they'll usually do that for players who are like either returning or playing against one of their former teams or coming back to their hometown or something like that. But I get it. But yeah, Devin Lloyd definitely deserved some kind of game ball there, but we'll settle for AFC Defensive Player of the Month. that's serviceable enough. I guess.
I think we can stomach that. So he did really well, right? That was really great to see. Travis Etienne, that was a guy who's unstoppable. So now again, we're talking about both sides of the ball here. The things are just firing on all cylinders. I will say, things kind of slowed down a little bit in the second half, right? Mm-hmm. But going in to halftime, that was when the beer started flowing easy at the game because it felt unstoppable.
It did. You're right. I feel like from maybe a couple minutes into the second quarter, right up until like right near the end of the game, it felt like the Jags were totally in control. I did start to get a little queasy right there towards the end whenever whenever it felt like we needed just a field goal. We had like 3 opportunities to try and get a field goal, and it would pretty much just put it totally out of reach.
Yep.
And we had that last punt, and I was like, oh, God, this is going to be a long ride home if this goes the way I'm afraid it's going to.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The defense clutched up again. I mean, it feels good to have a defense that you can rely on in big moments.
No, I mean, it was
Jake
like
Browning on the other side.
Well, everybody has their kryptonite. But, I mean, it's just like it was punched out for a fumble here or there. I mean, It was just crazy how much the defense could totally swing the momentum of the game. And what it did is it allowed the opportunity for the Jags to really have a lot of opportunities on offense where, in some of the games in the past, they're not necessarily controlling a ton of offensive time on the clock, right?
Yeah.
So having a game that has a little bit more balance to it in that regard, that's where, you're really wanting to see that, because ultimately you can't have the big break-off runs from Travis Etienne given it's on the first play when they make a big I believe that came after.
It was the Dennis Gardeck peanut punch.
Yeah. and then he goes and breaks it off, and it's like, dude, this is exactly what you would love to see. I mean,
which by the way, brief tangent, shout out to Dennis Gardeck. He's been so good, hasn't he? For a guy that I knew very, very little about, and from my understanding has been kind of a special teams demon type guy for a lot of his career. I mean, he's making, honestly, really stellar contributions. And then I did not foresee him being utilized as effectively and as often as he has been in this defense.
Yes, he was very prominent in that game specifically. So there were a couple of plays where you'd kind of see him just running after the player, where it was maybe it was a quick out route in the flats, and then he's just kind of tailing it, and he doesn't quite take the right angle to get someone. But ultimately, it's like sometimes what you need is a guy who is capable of a big play like that, and you get something that goes the right way on the defensive side, it totally changes the whole outlook of the game when you suddenly have your offense at midfield, as opposed to making a good collective defensive stop that creates a punt where you're working from back in, your own red zone area, right?
Right, yeah.
So ultimately, the defense played really well. That was what stood out to me the most and most prominently, right?
For sure, yeah. I do have to, speaking about the offense a little bit, I want to get some of the negatives out of the way, which the big one is just, it's still the penalties, man.
Yep.
It's just so frustrating how much this team continues to struggle with penalties. We are leading the NFL in accepted penalties right now by a decent margin. I think we have 3 more than second place, and then second place is ahead of the rest of the league by 10 or something like that. So it's we're just way out by ourselves in terms of penalties.
Maybe we need to start incentivizing them to decline our penalties. Hot take. Maybe that's our solution.
Yeah, we get less penalties accepted by sweetening the deal a little bit.
Liam Cohen just cries a little bit. And you're like, do you really want to hurt this guy's feeling? Come on.
Pretty please. Yeah.
Sweet guy like him.
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
but
not so sweet. Not so sweet after that exchange with Robert Saleh at the end. We'll talk. I want to talk about that in a second, but yeah,
to finish on the
right. Well, and I don't know if you recall this, but there is a point where the game is still very much in the balance. We're at midfield. It's like fourth and less than a yard, and I mean it's basically a gimme. A QB draw gets that probably 99 times out of 100. And it's false start, something happens, whatever, back it up 5 yards, okay, we're going to punt instead. And it's those are the kind of just really, really critical errors, you know what I mean, that have been so difficult to swallow trying to, root for this team because we just keep on shooting ourselves in the foot. We haven't played a game this year so far that I don't think we shouldn't have blown the other team out.
Yeah.
And it's just these self-inflicted errors time after time after time that it gets so tiresome. We're not it's not like the other team is just outplaying us. We're just, we just don't have the discipline or the focus or whatever it is. We just can't seem to shake this,
Yeah. I mean, you would 100% look back, and this is where you see it most clearly is did we really have the Bengals beat us? Or did we just lose to the Bengals, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's it's hard to dismiss penalties when that is 100% just a discipline. It's a discipline thing.
Yeah, well, and it's just it keeps on killing these drives before they can even get started. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And there's a lot being made right now about Trevor's effectiveness in this offense and just the passing game at large. And I think that there could be a really significant piece of that is the fact that we just can't get any offensive rhythm going, because I mean, can we go 3 plays in a row without a penalty on offense?
A penalty, a dropped ball.
Yeah, the drops too, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of things that can shift the mental of what's going on during a certain drive. I mean, because suddenly when you're starting a drive at 1st and 15 versus 1st and 10, you are drawing up different plays. You're just trying to get it closer to the, to the first down marker, as opposed to, actually going and stretching the field and making a play downfield, which I definitely have to commend. There were a couple of really good. I think of the Travis Hunter. That was one that seeing in person.
Oh, the big catch on 3rd and 15. Ooh,
that was crazy.
That was really cool to see. Yeah, that was awesome. That's one of the. That has to be at least one of the best catches of the week. If not the season so far. That's full speed down the seam, full extension, haul it in. That was awesome.
I was afraid that we were sacrificing Anton Harrison's health for that play, too, because he was rolling around like he'd been shot in the end zone.
That's right, yeah.
That was the same exact play. I was like, oh, man, is this really, we're playing with tarot cards here where it's if you want a good play, you're going to have to kill someone.
Yeah, this is the twisted bargain that you have to make as a Jaguars fan. But, continuing on that line of positives, Anton Harrison has been so good this year. He's been another guy that you say is a slow. Well, okay, Anton Harrison had a good start, had a very big sophomore slump. Absolutely.
And now you're seeing the productivity. Mm-hmm. Bulky masterclass.
Hey man, I'll say this. You do have a couple of Trent Baalke draft picks that now that they're kind of in a new, coaching hierarchy, getting some different direction. They are starting to kind of flourish. You can say the same about Brenton Strange. You can say the same about, like we said, Devin Lloyd.
Yep.
Yep. shout out to what's his name from Storage Wars?
Dave from Storage Wars.
Shout out to
yeah,
Dave from Storage Wars.
we were kind of shacked up for a little bit. Like it was the night before where we were trying to kind of hold ourselves over to not go too hard so that we could really ball out for the game. Mm-hmm. And we tore through some Storage Wars, and that was...
It was a highlight of the trip.
Truly. Really. I might have just skipped the game just for Storage Wars, man. But it's like...
Anybody else that's been like really popping off from the Balky regime? Those three guys jump off the page immediately.
Yeah. I would... Again, I hate to kind of go back and forth between the highlights and the lowlights. Tyson Campbell is a guy that is, I think, really good, and I think that a guy that from the Trent Baalke regime, if we're talking about that has in the past contributed a lot
at a very high level.
Yeah. This was, I think that we've kind of seen a little bit of a struggle.
That's true.
As of late, especially for a player that got paid like him.
No doubt.
It's something that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you're right. There's been a couple of, Ricky Pearsall gets behind Tyson Campbell in the 49ers game. Nico Collins, gets behind Tyson Campbell. That one slip up, was 70% of the Texans' points in week 3. I'm kind of wondering if, I've always thought of Tyson as this really elite kind of zone corner. That doesn't necessarily have the top end speed to just go stride for stride with
like one of the coverage.
One of the real burners in man coverage, and I suspect part of the reason that we're seeing some of these plays where he just doesn't look that good is I think he's being asked to play man to man down the field a little bit more than he would have otherwise if our safety room wasn't so banged up. I'm afraid it's some of the injuries and depletions in our safety room that are causing us to have to sort of shift resources just a little bit and kind of get Tyson outside of the part of the field where he's really at his best. So I don't know. I'm making excuses for the guy, I guess. It's just you're right. He's been disappointing for a defense that overall has really been shining through these first 4 weeks. He has been
underwhelming.
It's
not bad, but it's underwhelming.
I never would have expected that our defense would be performing this well with these kind of games from Tyson before the season. If that makes sense, you never would have picked that.
Right.
But we'll see what happens there. Maybe that's something that we can kind of scheme around. That's one. We'll talk about the Chiefs later, but that's one thing that I am concerned about with. Xavier Worthy getting behind Tyson. But
I saw a little bit that he was because he's been a little bit banged up too.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's. And I haven't checked it. I mean, we're sitting here right before the game. I don't know that he's totally cleared to play or that he will.
Yeah.
I don't want to be disseminating misinformation, but
True. Well here I'll see what the latest is. I'll see what the latest is when we talk Chiefs. So. But before we get there, let's talk about the implications of this 49ers game. And we do have the benefit of hindsight of seeing how they looked with the return of the Mac Daddy Thursday Night Football against the Rams.
Dude, the Banana Goblin, some are calling him. I don't know if you watched it. Dude, I knew when they were like Mac Jones had 11 bananas, I was like, that guy's a 7 banana top type of guy. There's no way he's pumping 11 banana numbers.
I saw a video. It's like they brought him his banana pre-peeled. Did you see that?
Of course they did. Yeah, dude. Mac Daddy doesn't have time to peel bananas. But I mean, did you also see where like the backup to Mac Jones was like so thankful that Mac Jones got back up? He was like, "Oh, thank God, I did not want to ruin this." Which that game in total, because again, you're talking about the implications. Then you go and see them play Thursday Night Football in LA against the Rams at SoFi,
who many people I think are real true contenders in the NFC.
Right, and I think that I think that you could have had just about any team go out and beat the Rams that night. They looked so miscalculated. There were so many points that they left off the board. And the 49ers looked phenomenal in comparison.
Yeah.
So is that a symptom of that the Rams are a bad team? I wouldn't think so. They've been putting up crazy numbers up to that point. The Rams have looked really good, with the exception of the blocked field goal in return to a full, like, I guess, fumble, whatever the blocked field goal implies in the Eagles game, where they go and lose it off of that. They've looked really good.
Absolutely.
And they looked like hollow against the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's tough to say. Like, I feel like it's really tough to kind of have your finger on the pulse of the NFL and who's good, who's not, up until, I don't know, maybe week 8 or so.
Yeah.
So it's tough to, like, we'll be able to look in hindsight and say, you know, oh, that was a good win early season, or oh, that really didn't mean much. They didn't amount to a whole lot, you know. But like you said, I mean, seeing the 49ers go and, I mean, really handle the Rams with a kind of a skeleton crew on offense.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
it makes you, yeah, I mean, it makes you think that, like, wow, I mean, maybe, you know, maybe that was a really, like, a better win than even we thought. I mean, it was always going to be a good win. You know, beating the 49ers on the road, that was always going to be a really good win. It's starting to look like it might be like a signature win of the season.
It's proved us wrong. I mean, here we were a couple of weeks ago thinking there's no way that they go into the 49ers house and go and beat them, right?
No,
right?
No, it did seem
Keep
impossible.
it competitive, but that was not a win that we had chalked up.
It seemed like a scheduled loss, right?
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
And then,
but here we are. Yeah.
Yes, and ultimately they go and they face the Rams in LA. Now, I will also say, I watched the game. A little bit
a lot of red in that crowd.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, you're not so far that it doesn't make sense, especially with the Rams' history of kind of moving back and forth.
Yeah.
But it's like the 49ers, they beat a good team.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna say a great team, because they had many miscues that really led to that defeat being kind of written in the stars, right? It was just like they got to the 1 yard line and the
Kyron fumble, yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. That, I mean, and I'm not going to say that I wasn't self-interested in it, because I had them winning that game in my Survivor League. So I was like very upset about it. And then they take it to overtime, and then they still lose it.
This was a tough week for Survivor Leagues, by the way. With the Philly upset, the Bills upset, the Titans somehow beating the Cardinals. Like, I feel like almost everybody took a loss this week in the Survivor Leagues.
It was definitely a tough one. And ultimately, you kind of have to kind of frame that into the Jags stood really firm against the 49ers, right?
They looked like clearly the better team against the 49ers.
Yeah, I would say
basically
on
start to finish,
all senses of it. I mean, the special teams, we had the really great punt return, which obviously was like huge for us. Right?
And a really nice, I mean, Basil Tutin also had another nice return of his own that ended up getting us, I believe, a field goal going into halftime.
Yes.
So.
And then offense played pretty well. I mean,
they had their moments. The run game was really nice, and then the pass game was good enough, you know.
Yes. And then the defense obviously was. I mean, we've already hit on that. Just phenomenal.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what that really means for the coming into the Chiefs game, right, is that we are postured to where this is kind of like a choose your destiny kind of thing, right? If we were to go in and hold it on at home against the Chiefs, I feel like it would be unequivocally put that the Jags are for real.
Basically as for real as it gets in the AFC.
Yes.
With Joe Burrow being out for the Bengals, with the Ravens looking like hot garbage.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be coming off potentially a direct head-to-head win against the Chiefs. Chargers falling apart. I mean, at that point, the only team I think that you would still maybe put firmly ahead of the Jags, results-wise, would be the Bills, right? So, yeah, I mean, opportunity for an absolutely massive statement. And the other thing that I think is this feels like a really big game for the Jags. And obviously, it's not a must-win. You know, like there's 100 different ways that this season can shake out after the result of tonight's game, where we can still make the playoffs, we can still be a really great team. But there is something about this new regime that we have in place with that kind of trifecta of Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, Tony Baselli, where it just feels like these are not the same old Jags, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like there's all these, you know, sort of conventions or things that just seem to always go wrong for us that these guys, frankly, don't give a shit about. You know, we lost 5 in a row to the 49ers. Never win on the West Coast. You know, doesn't matter. We never get to a start this good. I think the last time that the Jags started 3-1 was, 2018, I think?
Yeah.
Maybe 2017? I mean, it's been a while. So you just have another opportunity to just like kind of break this kind of forsaken mold again. You know, how many games have we lost in a row to the Chiefs? I know Patrick Mahomes is 5-0 against the Jags in his career. When was the last time the Jags won a primetime game, you know, on a Monday night?
Yep.
It's been a while. So it feels like it's another one of those opportunities to say, like, to scream out loud to the league, like, hey, these are not the same Jaguars that you're used to, that everybody's used to dunking on.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. And that's why I bring it back to that kind of exchange between Liam Cohen and Robert Saleh after the 49ers game. And it's like, you know, was that really necessary? Yeah, probably not. But guess what? He's Liam Cohen. He's the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't fuck with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of got me fired up when I saw that. I was like, man, he just like walked up to like one of the biggest guys in the room, you know, coaching wise, and said, keep my name out your mouth. You know, I love that. I'm sure they loved it in the locker room.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to have somebody that it will stand on business with them and reset the narrative, that's like a big thing that anybody could rally around. And I think that a lot of Jags fans have been looking for. Somebody that the charisma speaks for itself. That is something that is 100%.
Duval.
Okay, all righty. Sorry I said the word charisma. But it is a point to be made that the Jags need kind of a statement win. And unfortunately, the win against the 49ers, a lot of people could chalk up to, well, they were injury riddled. This is not the true 49ers team that you will see down the stretch, which is fair. Hey, you know, you are not going to see Nick Bosa take another snap this year, right? What could have happened if Nick Bosa was healthy, right? Who knows? Who knows? Who would know what would happen different if all the wide receivers were back, if Brock Purdy was firing? But the point of it is that they still went to the 49ers house and they won, and they made a big statement. And what solidifies that is the echo that could be a Monday Night Football win against the Chiefs. So
100%.
Ultimately, this is not going to be an easy game, right? This is going to be a hard-fought game. Chiefs have the Jags number. Juwan Taylor revenge game.
We can only hope.
But I think being at home, being Monday night, I think that a lot different can happen. And I think that they've shown a lot that would err on the side of the Jags really taking a big stand against the public narrative, where a lot of people do not have them slotted to win this game. And
I hear you.
I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it.
So in terms of the actual predictions for the game tonight, I did just look up the availability status. Trayvon Walker is officially out. He was questionable. Of course, he had his wrist injury. He had surgery on Monday. It's kind of remarkable that they were even considering playing him. But yeah, he's officially out. Xavier Worthy officially active.
Okay.
So, with that in mind, how do you see tonight's game shaking out?
Oh man, are you a glass half full type of guy, or are you a glass half empty?
My glass is more than half full, I think.
Oh man, you're calling for a win then.
I am. I think so. So here's the thing. So the one matchup that concerns me as a Jaguars fan is Xavier Worthy. That's the one guy that I'm like, he's just got that top end speed that our defense has been really vulnerable to so far this year. The good news for us, there's only one Xavier Worthy out there on the field, and he's probably not 100%. What I think is going to really benefit the Jags is I think that, now let me look up the Chiefs' schedule, but I think that we might be, the most formidable defense that they've played so far this year. Chiefs' schedule, let's confirm that. So
they did they beat the Ravens?
Yeah, they played the Ravens last week.
And that was Lamar Jackson was available for a bit of it.
Yeah, for a little while. But they still had that same awful defense,
Okay.
So they've played the Chargers, they've played the Eagles, the Giants, and the Ravens. So yeah, like I said, we're going to see how the season shakes out. But, there is a very compelling case that the way that this Jaguars defense is playing, the Chiefs have not run into something like this so far. And their offense has been mostly inept for basically the entire season, except for their game against the Ravens last week, who, we all know how bad the Texans' offense is. The Texans did the exact same thing to the Ravens. They also hung 37 on them. So I feel like you can't take a whole lot away from that Ravens game. But either way, I think on the offensive side, I think our strength is one of their weaknesses. We have been excellent in the run game. They have been bad at stopping the run. So that's something that I think we can really leverage to our advantage. And if they decide to sell out to stop the run, well, our receiving game our passing game is just waiting to break out. You know what I mean? I can't say that we've seen it yet, but you just get the feeling that it's right there. You know what I mean?
The baby steps have been taken with the BTJ, with the Travis Hunter. Tell me how much you would love it to see a phenomenal game out of either of those two individuals tonight.
It would now I would prefer BTJ because I do have some fantasy implications on the line.
Self-interested.
But I would take either. I'd be so happy to see either. The most happy I'd be is to see a Jaguars win at the end of the night. Fantasy aside, doesn't matter. But I'm also really interested to see Josh Hines-Allen lined up against rookie left tackle Josh Simmons for the Chiefs. Now, one of the more underrated storylines in the 49ers game is Josh Hines-Allen kind of kicked Trent Williams' ass.
Yep.
One of the Hall of Fame left tackle. He's a little older, but he's still playing at an elite level. So we're going to see, is that going to be a matchup that he can take advantage of? I think that's something that if you're a Jaguars fan, you believe that he can. For a guy that's consistently, I think, underrated by the national media, Josh Hines-Allen, that's a matchup that you're kind of licking your chops at, I think, if you're Anthony Campanile. So yeah, I don't think that, in terms of how, these two teams' strengths and weaknesses match up with each other, I feel like it benefits the Jags. And it's going to be at home. The bank is going to be rocking. The fans are going to be well lubricated for the game. So,
Hey, man, we've been to a Monday Night Football game. We know how it is at the bank.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, seriously. I mean, that was such a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
So you'd like to think that this fan base is starting to maybe buy into this team a little bit and is going to show out and really support the guys out there. So
we'll definitely see here shortly.
Absolutely.
But I feel like there's one thing that we're really not hitting on, Evan, if you're ready for it.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this. Little special occasion for the day. It could be time to celebrate a little special someone.
I think that it's there's a little bit of an X factor that has not been discussed, not in the national media.
That's right.
Not by anybody surrounding the organization, but we will broach the subject.
We're not afraid to. Somebody's got to say it.
There is cowardice amongst us, and we will step above. It's
That's
a
right.
special baby boy's birthday today.
That's right.
And what's better than a happy birthday than a little bit of a birthday win? And I think that it's only appropriate that maybe we do a little bit of a piece to celebrate. So I think that it's only appropriate that there was a little birthday piece to our birthday prince.
Oh, that looks absolutely delightful. Goodness. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we do not have the previous defensive coordinator here on the Jags to say, Trevor, you actually need to eat a whole birthday cake before the game to make weight
That's
to be able to play. But
that's right.
I think it's only fitting that we give our boy a little bit of birthday praise.
Are we gonna sing happy birthday to our guy?
It only depends if we're a little bit more Marilyn Monroe style or if we're just a regular happy birthday style. I'll let you pick. Dealer's choice.
I think I only really know one style, which is probably not the Marilyn Monroe style, but
Alrighty.
I could take my best guess at it if you.
How about a happy birthday for our prince?
That's a great idea. Let's hit it. Right. Happy birthday, Trevor. Duval.
Had to take that away from him.
There we go.
Dude, the people coming over for Jags Monday, they're going to love this.
That's
for sure.
All right, final score prediction. Let's get it before we sign off here.
All right. Jags 24-21.
Okay. I'm going Jacksonville 27, Kansas City 19.
Wow. What a deficit.
Statement victory. Everbank Stadium, Duval County, Monday Night Football. All right, y'all. This has been another episode of Duval Adjacent. Thank y'all for watching. We will catch you guys next time.
See ya.